Welcome to the Altenew February 2026 release video hop. I am ecstatic and truly grateful to be joining today as a guest designer. Thank you for hopping along. Today I am sharing how to create this A7 size interactive card that is sure to surprise. I'll start by stamping the floral clusters from the beautiful Scripted in Bloom stamp set. Since I couldn't decide on a color combo, I stamped two sets, one in Twilight Sky and another one in Dark Night Fresh Die Inks. Using the companion stencil, I blended the colors as follows. For the flowers on both sets, I used Celestial Mist as the base layer, Glacier Iris, and Dreamy Periwinkle for shading. To color the leaves stamped with Dark Night ink, I used Misty Morning, Cloudy Sky, and Nimbus. And for the ones stamped with Twilight Sky, I used the colors from the Earth Tones family. Once the blending was complete, I die cut the clusters off camera. Next, I die cut two labels from the Creative Labels stamp and die set and stamped the frames with Enchanted Gold Pigment Ink. I use a jig to align the stamps, then center the thank you sentiment, and I stamped it using Obsidian Pigment Ink. On the front panel of my card base, I lightly mark the center to align the label die I chose. In this case, I'm using the more rounded version of the label. I die cut the window on the front panel only, then erased the pencil lines and stamped a few extra clusters directly onto the card base using Enchanted Gold Pigment Ink. I dry fit the floral clusters in opposing corners, trimming a few excess pieces to cover sections where the stamped images did not reach. Before attaching the clusters to the front of the card, I stamped a couple of clusters inside the card and created the interactive element, for which I cut one strip measuring 4 inches by 5/8 of an inch, scored at 1 inch intervals, and a second strip measuring 6.5 inches by 7/8 of an inch. This one was scored at 1 5/8 inches intervals. Then applied double-sided tape only to the end tabs of both strips, making sure not to go over any score lines. Then I adhere one end of the larger strip centered just below the card's fold line, exposing the adhesive on the other end and closing the card to secure the first step. Now I will carefully attach the die cut label over the exposed section of the strip that is showing through the window. By stacking two labels, I added extra dimension and made the label sturdier. Then I will adhere one end of the second strip to the front side of the first one and then the other end to the back of the card base. This will allow me to add a second step in which I can add a sub-sentiment or another decorative element. Once everything was working smoothly, I attached the floral clusters to the front using dimensional foam tape, making sure that no adhesive interfered with the movement of the card. I like to use the sides of the stamp wheels stage to align these elements properly. If perchance some of the adhesive is exposed inside the window, you may cover it with a scrap piece of paper or remove it carefully. I hope you give this idea a try and be sure to stop by next week to see what I create with the leftover clusters. Thank you for stopping by. Please visit the rest of the creators in the hub for more inspiration. Don't forget to leave a comment for your chance to win. All products I use are listed in the description box, and I appreciate you using my affiliate links when shopping. Until next time, happy crafting!